Does it look like I'm wearing sunglasses? Now, in terms of usability, you put these on, you hook the USB up to your device, turn it on as an external display, and boom, you have a huge screen. It's 1080p, it's super clear, and I think it looks great. So these are the XREAL One Pros. I got them in last week. I've been testing them out. They took months to arrive due to some supply chain issues, but these are the latest and greatest in AR glasses technology. So in this video, I'm gonna be testing them out, giving you my opinion on whether or not I think the XREAL One Pros are worth the $600 price tag for these AR glasses. And how do they compare to, let's say, the Apple Vision Pro? Full disclosure, I bought and paid for these with my own money, and I'm not being paid to make this video. Now, let me start this review by saying that if you've had another AR headset like the Apple Vision Pro or the Meta Quest, your experience with these or another pair of AR glasses is going to be different than somebody who's never dabbled in AR tech before, and that's just because the bar has been set so high, specifically by the Apple Vision Pro. The reason that I ordered the XREAL One Pros is because the Apple Vision Pro has one serious drawback in that you have to stream everything. You can't hardwire a device to it and use it as an external display, which is pretty much the single biggest use case for the XREAL One Pros. You can hook a USB-C up to this. You can hook it into pretty much any device that you own, a computer, a gaming system, a phone, and you can use these as an external display for whatever content that you're working with. It's essentially a monitor that you can wear as glasses, and that means serious low input lag for things like gaming and high refresh tasks that the Apple Vision Pro just struggles with because you gotta stream it. First, let's talk about what you get with the XREAL One Pros for $600 that you don't get with the XREAL Ones, which are $100 cheaper. You get a slightly better Sony LED display, you get a slightly better field of view at 57 degrees versus 50 degrees with the standard XREAL Ones, and you get better dimming technology when you're looking at your content. There's also improved brightness at 700 nits versus 600 in the XREAL Ones. So here's what I like about the XREAL One Pros. I think the design is super cool. I think these look great. When you put them on from a distance, they look like normal sunglasses. And if you get closer, you can kind of see through the lenses that are somewhat tinted, that maybe there might be some more going on there. They're really comfortable, and they have the USB connection on the left side that just kind of hangs off the back and doesn't really get in the way. They're lightweight. There's no battery pack in them. That's all external. And they come in this nice carrying case that looks more or less like any other sunglass case. So taking these with you is super easy. They also have these super comfortable nose pads, which you can swap out. They also have the ability to put in prescription lenses here. And there are Bose speakers on the right and left side. And you can also adjust these arms to snap them up and down into 3 different placements. And get this, you can take the front plate off of the glasses if you want, and that just snaps right back on. So yeah, the form factor, super nice here. I would feel totally comfortable busting these out in a cafe or a public place. Now, I'm not gonna be able to show you exactly what I'm seeing through the lenses because I can't record internally to the XREAL One Pros like I can on the Vision Pro, and I'm actually going to use the Apple Vision Pro to simulate the screen size and the screen distance that the XREAL One Pros provide. Now, I like that they have 2 different options for screen display where you can either lock it in place or you can have it follow and track your head movement as you look around. Personally, the follow setting drives me absolutely nuts. I like to be able to have something locked in place, which is what I love about the Apple Vision Pro, that you can lock and reposition it on the go. Well, with these, you gotta look and you gotta press a button and boom, it'll lock into place, and that's where it'll stay. Now, I've set the screen at 171 inches at 4 meters away, which is the maximum field of view and maximum screen size at that field of view. I'll get to screen size in a little bit that you can display with the XREAL One Pros. And I think the screen looks great. It's super crisp, it's super sharp. I think the colors pop. It's a Sony micro LED, of course. And with that 700 nits of brightness, you can crank the brightness up. There's a theater mode, which basically blacks everything out. And then there's like a middle ground mode where you get some pass through. And then there's a mode where you can kind of move your head to the sides and it reduces the dimming so that if you're not looking right at the screen that it has, you can actually see the room around you in very clear detail. Now, I think the best use case for these is gonna be watching movies and playing games. I hooked my ROG Ally X up to the XREAL One Pros and had a great time playing The Witcher 3 on this massive screen. And it was super easy to take these, walk around with my ROG Ally X, which powered the XREAL One Pros, and have it be a virtual display wherever I was around my house. Now, I really think gaming specifically is the best use case for these because of that 120 hertz refresh rate and virtually no input lag, because these are working essentially as an external monitor, which the Vision Pro just can't compete with. Now, let's get real with the screen size and the field of view and talk about the downsides. All right, so even though the field of view is 57 degrees, which is actually really good for a pair of AR glasses, it's still about half that as the Apple Vision Pro. So that's why if you're coming from a headset like the Vision Pro to using glasses like these, you're going to be in for a bit of a shock because the field of view is going to be significantly smaller. It's kind of like looking through a window into your screen, if that makes sense. So you have this window and you have your screen behind that window of your field of view. So that means if you make your screen size larger than what your field of view is able to display, you're going to have to move your eyes and head around to see the full picture. That's why they say 171 inch screen at 4 meters away for a 57 degree field of view. Now, another issue with this field of view, the edges are gonna be slightly blurry and you're gonna wanna reduce your screen size narrower than the field of view, as the edges might get clipped just a little bit. And if you're somebody who wants everything in focus in your field of view, you're going to need to narrow it down. Now, the second thing I will say here is that screen size really doesn't matter a whole lot when you're talking about AR glasses and headset devices. Reason being is what matters is the viewing distance from the screen. And with the XREAL One Pros, the closest that you can bring the screen to your face is 2 meters, a little over 6 feet away. And the biggest you can make the screen at 2 meters away and still get everything in your field of view is about 84 inches. Now, you can make your screen over 400 inches with the XREAL One Pros, but it's gonna have to be such a far distance away in order to properly see it with the 57 degree field of view that, in my opinion, blowing a screen up that big just isn't worth it. Adding on to that point, there is an ultra wide setting you can use to make your screen wider, but your field of view is gonna stay the same. So you're gonna have to move that window around to view your ultra wide display. And personally, to me, this feels a bit like a gimmick. Unfortunately for me, the field of view and the viewing distance limitations of the XREAL One Pros make them a non-starter for doing productivity and using them as an external computer display for doing work. That's something that I really love about the Vision Pro, is that I can bring the screen in 4K right up to my face almost, just a few inches away. The XREAL One Pros, you're gonna have to have it at least 6 feet away from your face and under 84 inches, which is gonna make it like working on a TV. So that's why I think these are best suited for watching movies and playing games and using it as a big screen like you would a TV or a projector at a distance, as long as you're okay with not having the ability to bring that screen close to your face. Now, another downside here is that the controls on the arms of the glasses are fine if you are not going to be repositioning your screen or changing the brightness settings. But if you're going to be tweaking settings and you're somebody who wants to constantly be tweaking and repositioning settings, I will tell you, your arm is going to get tired as you click these buttons and hold it up to your eyes. You will start to get some shoulder pain, and I was actually experiencing that as I was going through the tutorial. I was like, oh wow, I've been holding my arm up here for like 5 minutes and it's starting to hurt. So XREAL does have this beam device, which is kind of this remote control-ish thing that sort of works in tandem with the XREAL Pros so that you can like point it around and click. It also has some other features and streaming functionalities, I think. And that might be something to look into if you're not somebody who's content with just setting it and forgetting it in terms of the settings. So do I think the XREAL One Pros are worth this $600 price tag? In short, I'm not convinced. They're really, really cool, but they just don't hold a candle to something like the Apple Vision Pro. Granted, they're about 1/5 of the price as the Apple Vision Pro, but they're about 1/5 as good in terms of functionality and enjoyment, in my opinion. If you've never used AR tech before, you might be really, really happy with these because they are super cool. And I really do think that these do serve a use case, being essentially an external monitor that you can wear easily and take with you. Now, the limitations of being an external monitor and not being able to use them in productivity settings and as a computer monitor is super frustrating. Not saying you can't do it, it's just you're gonna have to make sacrifices with the screen size and the field of view. But if you're somebody who can afford to splurge $600 on an entertainment device that doesn't want to spend $3,500 on an Apple Vision Pro, or isn't looking for a full headset to strap to their face and have to worry about carrying around, yeah, these could definitely be a tool in your arsenal, and I think they make a great travel companion. Now, would I buy the XREAL One Pros for $100 more than the XREAL Ones? Yes, I would, and there's 2 reasons why. Even though the field of view is only marginally better, I think any improvement in field of view is worth the trade-off in price. Also, the dimming features are a bit better, and for me, that makes for a more enjoyable experience, and I'm willing to shell out the extra cash. Now, it's worth pointing out that the full feature set and functionality of the XREAL One Pros has yet to be fully realized. That's because this includes a spatial computing chip that's capable of much more than it currently offers. We could see XREAL start to roll out some new spatial features and potentially some motion and hand gesture features in the future as well. Personally, I'm going to hang on to the XREAL One Pros for the time being. I have a few trips coming up and I'm going to take these along rather than the bulky Apple Vision Pro, and I haven't quite made up my mind on whether or not I'm going to keep these. So I'm going to be testing out the XREAL One Pros for the next few weeks, months. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.